Welcome one, welcome all to episode 247 of the Xbox Expansion Pass, recorded on Saturday, October 12th, 2024. I'm your host, Luke Lohr, the InsipidGhost, joined by my co-host, the intrepid Captain Logun. Today, we'll be discussing the new Halo adventures that are coming, as they have a new studio with Halo Studios 343 is no more. Xbox Cloud Gaming is on a new rise now that the U.S. courts have allowed them to sell and distribute games digitally through their Xbox app. Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred is out. People are playing it with new WoW skins. And, of course, Metaphor ReFantazio is out to critical acclaim. As always, we hope you enjoy the show. Logan, we like to start the show by offering words of kindness to those who've made our gaming weeks better. But first, how are you, my friend?
Doing good, dude. I am deep into Diablo Vessels of Hatred. So been playing a lot of that lately, working on my Spiritborn and just kind of enjoying gaming right now. Like I've been doing some COD zombies and some other stuff. So just been having a good week. All other life issues aside, there's really like you could complain, but you don't need to. There's so much other stuff we could talk about.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we've talked last week about some of the Xbox content that's arrived, the kind of the difference between Shattered Space reviews and then Vessel of Hatred reviews, seeing different contents kind of go out there, games coming out. This is a packed month. I consistently say it's a quiet month for Game Pass, save for Call of Duty at the end, but a big month for gaming across the board in a lot of different ways. And so I feel like there is a lot of cool things to talk about. I know I'm having a blast. I am swamped. You and I were divvying up coverage, codes, assignments, things we're talking about. And it's just neat to see all this stuff coming. It's been a good week. A busy one for sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I feel like we've gotten like some pretty big releases this month, but it all feels like kind of follow up for stuff that's already come out. Am I wrong in that? Or is it just me looking at like Shattered Space and Vessel of Hatred and feeling like, oh, that's the main thing?
I think that's really what it is, that, as our coverage focuses on Xbox content, those are the two big pillar things right now for Xbox, because you have all the discourse about Shattered Space being good or bad. And then you have Vessel of Hatred arriving, that being multi-platform. And then you have Metaphor ReFantazio arriving. And that's new. But apart from that, like you look back, you've got Aura History Untold, Age of Mythology. Xbox has had a lot of hits, but it's Vessel of Hatred, Starfield. So I think that's really what's going on. If it were me,
a lot of PC stuff. I'm noticing. A lot of PC stuff.
Yep. Absolutely. A lot of. I mean, that's just the direction Xbox is going, and their next big release is Flight Sim 2024, followed by Stalker 2, which is one of those in betweens, and then you've got Indiana Jones. So it's just
Stalker 2. I'm kind of looking for. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Stalker 2, I'm interested in. I think that'll be cool given the story, that little vignette that they did.
I haven't watched
recently.
It.
Oh, it's interesting. Like the making a movie during war, or making a game during wartime kind of thing.
Okay. So I need to put that on my list, is what you're telling me to watch.
I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be really interesting. And the Stalker series, like I've always been kind of like that dystopian future style. Like that's always been my bag. So that's always one of those ones where, looking at the Stalker games, I've always, in like the Metro games too, I've always just been like, oh, they got a style, they got a vibe. It's like watching Chernobyl, but you get to experience it, So I'm looking forward to that one. But yeah, Indiana Jones at the end of the year is I think kind of everyone's question mark for this year. Yeah. Like, how's it gonna turn out? Is it gonna be Machine Games' next major IP in a series of IPs that we get from our Lord and Savior Disney, or is it going to be like they should have let them like cook on it a little bit longer and polish it, or is it going to be like wow, they should not have taken this on? There was clearly a lot of conversation coming down from the top of boardrooms dictating what to do. This is why you don't let suits involved, kind of thing. Like, so many possible like branches of timelines that you could go down with just Indiana Jones in general.
Yeah. I know that this was a big, or Indiana Jones was a big, like Todd Howard. He really wanted that. He loves the franchise and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm asking the question, blasphemous though it may be, but like, should he be really making decisions at this point in his career? And that's such a strange thing because like they call him
How dare you?
even Elder Scrolls, Fallout, but then you've got Starfield having mixed reception, despite my love for it, right?
Yeah.
Fallout 76, the way they charge people can be good or bad depending on who you ask.
Do you love Starfield though?
Absolutely. I loved Starfield.
Mm.
That was a blast. Like I really had a great time with it. But I don't live in that world. I think that's maybe what you're alluding to is like I played it, had my experience, hated the
New Game Plus.
the New Game Plus approach.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. I don't think that's smart in the slightest. I thought it was really bad.
So
In fact,
rude.
I would argue that a lot of Starfield is just good. And it's whether or not it strikes you right and comes together to be great, because there are some I really enjoyed my time with it, and I've got a lot of things I hope and expect them to do for it, right? But I still love it. So that's
that's fair. I mean, it's hard for me to say you're wrong because I feel the same way, but I'm not like I'm also not living in that world 24/7. So but I did talk to my buddy last night about it. Patron Trickster. He loves Patron. He's almost 100%ed like all the achievements for Starfield.
Oh wow.
Been to tons and tons of worlds, and I was asking him about it. I was like, well, how do you feel? He's like, most of the worlds are empty, and once you've been to, you know, a handful of them, they all start to feel the same and stuff. And I'm like, I think that was my issue with Starfield. I think that's why I look at Outer Worlds, and I think that is a more finely tuned, crafted experience compared to Star World, which is more of like a blank slate, ripe for creators. And you go into the creator content shop, and you can see like, yeah, this is what Bethesda does. They create a world, they create a story, and then they let the community start to build up everything else around it. And it's almost like they're playing like a really interesting version of a D&D game where they get to be the DMs and everyone else gets to make their content based around like the world that the DM is set.
For me, as I agree. I mean, there needs to be something altered to the experience of Starfield to make it land with more people. And to me, it was the amount of loading screens that interrupted actual gameplay, the little stuff. I know you always talk about encumbrance, the little stuff that brings you in and out of menus. To me, that is detrimental to the otherwise enjoyable gameplay experience. And it doesn't matter. I know they had I think it was their creative director out, you know, on socials this week defending the game, and it comes across as tone deaf despite logical points being made. But I think it doesn't matter the size and scope of things that they do in Starfield and how much of a technical achievement that can be or is. It's a matter of the user experience and whether or not people are enjoying it. And in a world where No Man's Sky and Starlink and other games have allowed you to go out of atmosphere and back in without a loading screen, the amount of boasted, you know, worlds and stuff matters very little if there's nothing to do and such. And on paper, it looks like Starfield Shattered Space was meant to address many of that. Curated, what am I looking for? Curated quest lines, pardon me.
Quest lines.
Yeah, just quests. Curated quests, handcrafted, all on one world. That should have helped solve it. And I wonder if the writing fell flat or not. Having not played it myself, again, back burner for me. I'm going to get to it. I'm excited to get to it. I'm ready to go back into the world. I did go back in and recover or make active my save prior to New Game Plus, just to have that because I really wanted that. And so I'm excited to dive back in. But somewhere along the way, Starfield isn't landing the way that it initially was hoped to be. And I think some of it's unfair. Some of it's very fair. And I totally understand when people are talking about giving it 8s, 9s, 7s, whatever.
So going back to the original idea, Todd Howard wanting Indiana Jones, do you think that his decision-making in this process with Machine Games is going to be so influential that it might be detrimental to like Xbox's kind of like bottom line as far as the game being pushed into the hands of someone of a studio that doesn't typically, they usually do their own thing. And now they're being given an IP and saying, like, here, create an entire game based around this IP that you probably don't have any assets or design around, and have fun with trying to encapsulate some of the Paramount like features that come from an Indiana Jones movies, with like the whip and the gun and the feel of it, in a world that you don't typically play around in with like the third person perspective. They typically live in that first person perspective. Do you think that maybe Machine Games, while a really good lineage of fighting Nazis in games, may have been like not as strong of a choice with Indiana Jones? Or is this just kind of like, we should probably just wait and see kind of situation?
I think Indiana Jones was a poor decision as far as IP goes, but the gameplay of Machine Games cannot be doubted currently, right? We've seen studios miss that haven't missed prior, especially this generation. But when I like nobody can doubt Games' pedigree, their experience in the era, their experience working with strong themes, regardless of whether it's fighting Nazis or otherwise. And so I have no doubt this game is going to be very good to great. I do not doubt that in the slightest. I do not doubt the decision to bring it over to PlayStation is going to be a financial cushion that they probably need. My doubt has always and will continue to be the IP of Indiana Jones and how irrelevant that character is on almost every level to modern audiences, with the exception of the olds. It just is. Like, it just is. It just is.
I would agree if millions of people did not visit Disneyland, Disney World, Disney Paris, Disney Tokyo, and have an Indiana Jones ride there.
Yeah, but who's going there for the Indiana Jones? They're going to Disneyland.
If they pulled Indiana Jones out of Disney like theme parks, I would agree, dead IP, we probably shouldn't be making video games for it.
I appreciate the comparison, the analogy, the example, but I don't think Indiana Jones is a draw to almost anybody going to Disney. They're going to Disneyland and they're like, oh, cool, Indiana Jones. All right. I think it kind of reminds me of when they took away Tower of Terror and made it like Guardians Drop or whatever it was for Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like, all right, they're just retooling the old ride to make it better.
Tower of Terror was its own, like, there was no IP based around it. Indiana Jones started as that IP. It wasn't like it was a ride like the Matterhorn that they redid to integrate Frozen into it or something like that. It was like, no, that was its thing. That was when they got Indiana Jones from Lucasfilms and stuff. They were like, nope, we are making an Indiana Jones ride, and that is it. The little jungled cruise tour ride, you guys can shift over, because Indiana Jones is going to be its own thing.
I'm trying to look. I want to look up when that ride became a thing.
When the Indiana Jones movie or ride became a thing,
right? Yeah.
Well, it was definitely there when I was down in California in SoCal back in 2011, 2012.
Right. So it's been a long time staple as the Disney experience. But like, my point is, it became a thing when the IP was relevant. And since Indiana Jones has been out and around. Hey, Todd Oxtra, X Bacon Gaming, Silkinit. Good to see you, Nerd Chat, in here. By the way, Jose, loving the pictures of the family at Epcot. I'm sorry, not Epcot, at Disney, Haunted Mansion and such. Beautiful family. Todd said it best.
Haunted Mansion.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I watched that movie. It was fun.
Dude, I love that movie. The newest one is cute as heck, man. I love that. I throw that on. That and Hocus Pocus are like the two that I'll throw on when I'm like, I don't want to watch a movie. I just want to have a movie on, and I don't want to have like one of these things going on in the background. I just want to have something like actual movie.
Sure.
Right now, that is 100% my go-to. We're getting down a weed. Do we really need to get down the Indiana Jones rabbit hole?
One last thing there. I do think it's interesting to the Xbox audience. It's particularly talking about Shattered Space disappointing, Vessel of Hatred doing well. Indiana Jones, the last good, let me rephrase it. The last critically well-received Indiana Jones content was decades old movies at this point. Because the last two movies have been mixed to poor, depending on who. Yeah, there's always opinions, but like
Last one was
genuine,
fun. It was dumb fun.
Fair. And then the game for the old Xbox game, not the Great Circle. That's the one that's coming out. But like there was, and so I just don't think it's had many hits. That said, Machine Games has a huge opportunity before them to make the IP relevant. Sometimes games do transcend media and get the big attention, and so maybe that's what happens.
Sometimes shows hit big and bring games out to people because of them. So
that's true.
I mean, I would love, and we've kind of beat this horse to the point where it's no longer breathing, but I feel like we've come to the agreement that we don't necessarily agree whether or not it's relevant, but we do trust Machine Games to be able to make a good game. I think I can't think of like them going from like third person to first person in Indiana Jones is the variance in their design style that concerns me. And I've never seen a game do a whip, and I'm not sure like how well that is going to do in first person. So it's like I have reservations based on like past because there's been no precedent set. But I'm obviously like looking forward to seeing if this is going to be a fun experience for pretty much for everyone.
Yep. Well, Logan, we kind of did get into the weeds as far as Indiana Jones goes.
Sorry.
No. I enjoy it. It was good. I'm just time coding it right now.
Yeah.
Because it's a fun topic. I'm curious, my friend. Did you have any words of kindness that you wanted to distribute this week?
Just wanted to thank Kevin, the Muffin Mon, and Sam over at Project X Talk. Sam has been dealing with some real life stuff, family health issues and such. And Kev reached out to us to see if one of us would be able to pop on for the show on Thursday night. I graciously said, hell yeah, I will happily come on that show and do that. So, the topics that we're going to get into might echo some of my sentiments based on what I talked about, earlier this week. But it was nice to get a chance to like sit down and chat with them and have fun. Cause as they're part of our community, I'm part of theirs. I really love like just those guys in general as content creators. I think their opinions and thoughts are really, really strong and definitely like something that I align with pretty much all the time.
That's great, man. That's
How about
fantastic. Mine goes to a content creator named Polyester and a Twitter user of Devit. They are relevant in the Dead by Daylight universe. That community is massive. It's very much. I had an equate to like the Destiny community and the Sea of Thieves community. We don't see them in our circles very often, but they're massive and they're tangentially related to us. Yeah. And they were good enough to share my interview with Matthew Cote, which I went really well and I really enjoyed it. And they shared it with the DVD community. And so that video's got 2,000 plus views and
pop that. Go into that a little bit more for people that aren't familiar with who that is.
So Matthew Cote is he's the head of Behavior Interactive partnerships. So he works with licenses and bringing, well-established characters from other universes into Dead by Daylight. And he's also the game director for Dead by Daylight. So his primary role now is to go talk to studios and say, hey, we'd like to get Chucky in our game. Hey, we'd like to make something based on The Ring or The Grudge or bring Pennywise or whatnot. And so he has this it's just a fascinating interaction that he has in the gaming industry because he's been with Behavior Interactive since the earliest days of Dead by Daylight and getting to bring characters like Michael Myers to the table. But there's only one skin for it, plus the prestige skins, which get blood on them. That's what they do. And, there's only one version of that. But then bringing in Ash from the Evil Dead in and then trying to re-up licenses. Do you have the rights to Jason or Freddy Krueger? Do you not? And just the conversation that he was able to have with me was just fascinating to hear how they bring new content and then balance original content with DBD to it. Because I'm head over heels in love with this game. I'm 75 hours in.
Nice.
No signs of slowing down. I just truly love this game. And not just as a spooky thing. I just love this game. And so It really is. Like
Yeah.
I was.
There's a reason why it stuck around for so long.
It stuck around when other games like Killer Clowns not doing well. Predator Hunting Grounds, they just brought it to Xbox. Not exactly. Oh, I have a code for that if you want that.
I already have it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't need it either.
But that's the thing. I bought it on PlayStation when it came out, and then nobody played with me.
I'm not gonna play it. Like, all these asymmetrical horror games are only okay or only doing okay, right? Like, I love Ghostbusters, but like, people don't stick around in those. So do I.
I know, it's
but
so sad.
They stick in Dead by Daylight though, and so that community is massive. Twitch is always doing well. And so I just appreciated that interview, and then Polyester and David sharing it, because my DVD reach is very small, and so they allowed it to be seen by more people, which was just appreciated. And then any of you that are watching right now or listening now, thank you for checking that out, because it really was a fun thing for me, because I'm head over heels in the game, but also like I felt like it was an interesting conversation. So
yeah, I thought it was really nice. I'm glad that you got to do that, because I know that you've been really diving down into Dead by Daylight, and it was such a kind of like my friends have been talking about this outside of our friend group, and I was like, oh well, it's got Castlevania skins, and I love Castlevania, so like why not jump in there and play a little bit and stuff. And at that point I was just like, well, I mean, it's spooky season, this is a great opportunity to be like, hey, Dead by Daylight's out there. If you guys haven't jumped into Dead by Daylight, that is a quick fun game to jump in for a couple rounds, get your fix, or just grind it out and keep working towards different accomplishments and stuff that you're kind of like moving through, is depending on what you're like working towards.
Their current battle pass, their equivalent, they call them tomes, but like their battle passes. Last one was Castlevania inspired. This new one gives you the true form of Dracula, which is a really cool to see, like that evolved thing, and like they all have in-game relevancy, so it's really just neat to have. And so I don't want to go on wax poetic about it, but my words of kindness are to those content creators and the people that were willing to check it out, despite that maybe not being their main interest, because people really seem to like it. I was very appreciative. So
I would echo that, and definitely, like, there are ways to play it to get familiar with the maps, so that you don't feel like you're just getting trolled by people who have hours and hours of experience. So definitely, like, and it's still on Game Pass, if I recall, right?
Yeah, one of the questions I asked them was about Game Pass, and they said Game Pass has done a lot for them, which was cool.
Just jump on and play it, man.
Yeah.
Go have some fun. It's interesting. It's something that is unique, unless you have tried it and you're just like, it's not my bag. But I would recommend it to folks if you're looking for something to play that's spooky this time of year. Agreed.
I have more interviews on the way. Again, I have that one that I've been teasing quietly for a bit that I'm not saying the name of, but then also I'm having the Retro Realms 2D Halloween Ash vs. the Evil Dead developers. Right now we're scheduled to talk, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm willing to say that out loud because it looks like that's going to happen. And I'm playing that game for review right now, which is fun.
Very cool.
Because there's, this seems like a trend as horror characters, because now there's an Art the Clown from Terrifier game that's in the works, 2D, 16-bit.
I saw that. That's funny.
It's like, let's go. I'm here for it, because I think I can say I'm enjoying the worlds that they're crafting. So I'll say that. But yeah. Well, Logan, let's do ourselves a favor and thank our channel members. Your names are scrolling below. We really appreciate it. It's so helpful. I did pay a Podbean bill thanks to Patreon this past week. And so if you're a patron or a channel member, I really appreciate you. If you ever donated a super chat, thank you. You've helped tremendously in a number of ways. Logan, would you be willing, good sir, to read out thank yous to our tier 2 and 3 patrons?
Of course. As always, thank you, patrons, for your support. It really does help Luke out for a lot of this, and ensure that, if we need to pay something that comes up, it's thankfully taken care of by the people that appreciate the content. So we like to shout out the tier 2 and tier 3 patrons from patreon.com/Xbox expansion pass. So thank you to Edward, Nicholas Johnson, Ellery Woods Parker III, Rob Frawley II, Tao Zochi, Randall Thor 19, Silkenit, Hafrican, aka Charles Jones, Game Positive, Jam Pack Sam, Matt Valdez, Rick Davis, Red Beast, Xbox Mike 29, the Lord Sir Master James Suddy, Brendan Myers, aka The Winter Gamer, Sony's VP of Marketing Kevin Butler, Clint Coombs, DJ Hero, and Dano12. Thank you all so much for your love, for your support, for your conversations in the Discord as well too. Our Discord is just for channel and patrons, channel members and patrons. So it's really nice to know that the people that care the most, not the most, but the people that are willing to support as much as they can, have found a community and friends that, you know, only crops up when you have that kind of like little groundswell of support from people who come together for a love of content and games. So it's really beautiful to see that.
Agreed. Well, the people in that community were pretty stark raving, fascinated, mad, interested, I suppose you would say, regarding the Halo news, as Halo 343 is no more. Halo Studios is now a thing. This was announced during the Halo World Championships. It's a pretty big deal. Because studio head Pierre Hintz said that the team is officially moving away from Slipspace, which was their proprietary engine, into Unreal Engine 5. They did showcase it's not quite a tech demo, but it really is a tech demo called Project Foundry. The reason this is such a big deal for anyone that's just like, all right, new engine, what does that mean? The majority of the Halo Infinite work, and Halo Infinite, I think it's a very good game. I really enjoyed the campaign. The multiplayer, very slow on content, missed its mark initially, but gameplay wise, fantastic. It's now in a great place in terms of content, but it was very difficult to code for, to work with, to produce things for, because they had contractors that they would hire in and exit, but those contractors had to learn a proprietary engine. Whereas now, anyone that they hire or contract will be coming in with familiarity with Unreal, which is almost a given staple of knowledge that programmers and developers have in the gaming industry. So I was really encouraged by this news. I like this a lot. I think it's long overdue. Disappointed to kind of learn that it's so far out. That is kind of a bummer to see how long we're going to be waiting, because Halo Infinite, that was a 2021 release. 2021 release. And it just is a bummer, but I love Halo. I love the direction that this is going in, and I'm looking forward to something happening. I really would have played that Battle Royale if it had happened, but I just feel like it's too much to battle with at the moment.
Tatanka.
Yeah.
Man.
But nonetheless, I think this is good news. What do you think?
Yeah, I was watching the championships going on that weekend, and shout out to Space Station Gaming. They got the final match against Optics, which I honestly thought that they were going to wipe the floor with Optics, because they, in the previous series where they had played them, it was like a 3-1 map. And it was just like, well, we know who's going to win here. And it went to the last match. And I was really surprised with that. There's some really good plays from Space Station as well as Optics. So really surprised there. But they before like the last series, they had this like studio announcement. And I'm sitting there, like getting my Twitch drops, and it's like 10 hours. And I'm like, okay, cool. Delay as much as you want. I need the time. And when they showed off the announcement, and they showed this kind of New Dawn video with them interviewing developers and stuff, I really realized, I was like, okay, well, I feel two ways about this. One, it feels like they're trying to like put a new paint of coat over or coat of paint. I knew that sounded weird as soon as I said it too.
Yeah.
It feels like they're trying to put a new coat of paint over the old studio, so people don't really think about 343 when they see the next Halo content. But then they talked about moving to Unreal Engine 5. And I was like, okay, well, I'm a big supporter of Unreal Engine 5, because Sea of Thieves is something that is built off of Unreal Engine 4. Outer Worlds is built on Unreal Engine 4. Some of my favorite games out there are built on Unreal. And, I think that there is something to be said when you are looking to hire talent, that if you can find people from other studios who've worked on titles that are built in Unreal, there's there's just like an already kind of like understood language that you have to find. Like, it's not about like, I could pick up an editing program knowing Photoshop and make something happen. But if I just get into Photoshop, I'm going to be able to do a lot more, a lot quicker, because I'm already familiar with where everything is in the program. Even though I have the tool set in my mind of like, okay, well, I know what I need to do. So I was really happy to see this. I think that their little kind of test bed of them looking to test and play around in Unreal and try and build out some of those main three biomes, like the snow, the Pacific Northwest, and the flood covered biomes. I think they look great. I also look at this and think like, this is just a test bed. They're just trying to build assets and create what they think Halo could look like with this. One of the things that I hope they do with this is that they start to hire people on who are familiar with Unreal Engine 5, not as contract, as just full-on employees. Start to breed this culture of longevity the way Bungie did with their employees. You know, like there's a reason why Bungie went on to do Destiny, and Destiny did really well. And it's because they took a lot of people with them from the original Halo days in Halo 2 and Halo 3 and Halo Reach. And they showed like, we know how to build games, and we have people that we're familiar with and comfortable with. There's an intrinsic, like there's a rapport built among that studio and their team that kind of like builds this up. So Halo Studios has a real opportunity right now. They've done away with what they consider 343, and they're looking to start new. They want to start fresh. They want to start building out multiple Halo IPs. They don't want to put all their eggs in one basket with Halo Infinite and call it a 10-year program on a slipstream engine that's based on the old engine that was used for Reach and stuff. Like, they want to get away from that. They want people to know that they care and love for Master Chief and for the Halo franchise, and that this is going to be a great opportunity for them to expand into a space that's going to afford them better opportunities and different options, especially with Lumen, with Meta, with the lighting systems that they've got, the streamlining for geometry, for elements that are in the distance coming in a lot quicker. So I'm hoping that the next time we see a mainline Halo game, it looks and feels like something that was on the same level as they talked about with how Halo Combat Evolved was a showpiece game, a console selling game in a time when nobody trusted Microsoft to make a gaming console. And Halo was that proof. I hope that Halo Studios can get to that level.
And, you know, I fully agree, because Halo was something special. It is, you cannot underplay what Halo did for the brand of Xbox, but modern audiences who were not there may not understand the gravity of what Halo did to both Xbox and the gaming industry. And it really did turn it on its head with its twin stick shooter on console really being done right for the first time. I have several thoughts on this. One, the move to Unreal, fantastic, needed to happen. Two, I really do hope they take some of the best that is Halo from Infinite, which was the grapple hook, that big, massive world, the high value targets, and the dynamic nature of what being on a Halo ring could be, and expand on it. There's no reason to think that they can't take what worked in Infinite and go forward with it. I really did enjoy that. Like, I do think they got that campaign right, but there's no doubt that they didn't foster it. They didn't water that seed the way they should have, right? But I mean, if you go play Halo Infinite as a standalone, you've got a great experience. I just wanted more. And so they need to do something better. I think they've got a cool villain with the Banished. They've got some good stuff happening story-wise. Never, ever bring back the Rampant Cortana garbage with the Guardians and such. But I will say, the era of Bungie Halo, the era of 343 Halo, and now whatever this future is with Halo Studios, we too often look back with fondness on the Bungie era, as if Bungie has not misstepped or didn't misstep then. It was a matter of, I think, competition, choices at the time, things that were good, things that were bad. But Bungie is not Bungie now. Like, some people are like, bring Bungie back. Shush. Who's
saying that?
You'll see it in almost it's kind of like the
Oh
people
my
that are still
God.
like, you shouldn't sprint in Halo.
Go look at the concurrence on Destiny 2 and see like the most recent spike and then the last 3 years of them struggling to find how they can continue to maintain good content and not like not try and like nickel and not nickel and dime, but fleece their fan base with cosmetics.
It's bad. It's bad. But that said, I think 343 will be is thought of a bit too harshly in some areas and worthy of critique in others. And so that's kind of the balance here. But I am hopeful that the engine, the new name, and the changed culture of not hiring out all your talent regularly all the time will open doors for Halo that need to be opened for it to stay relevant. Because I would hate to have the same conversations about Indiana Jones that we have, or for Halo that we have Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
That's just on my mind, as it were.
Do you think that, because I mean I've seen so many bad takes on the internet, and I'm not going to even give them any air to breathe here, but the one that I do want to call up is the Halo Combat remake seems to be going around the like the thoughts in minds of people looking at this Halo Studio change and the Unreal Engine 5, given the little like tests that they showed off with the work in progress stuff where they're kind of building up their like library of assets in Unreal Engine 5. Do you think that the people that were part of 343 when they came on and they took on Halo after Bungie had left and they made 4, and 4 was really kind of them trying to reboot Halo 1 as their own and really just kind of getting down to like the base?
I think Halo 4 is amazing.
Story.
I love Halo 4.
No, I'm not trying to disparage it. I'm trying to say like what they did was they basically took Halo 1 and rebooted it in their way to get familiar with the game. Do you think that this is an opportunity for Halo Studios to remake Combat Evolved as a way to prove to gamers that they can make a Halo game in this new engine and have it look as good as we wanted it to in our minds when we first played Halo, and not have to worry so much about what the story is, what the characters are, the voice, things like that? Do you think that they're going to try and like kick something out quicker because they won't have to worry about so much of the pre-production aspect of making a game?
They need to. The reality is, and I'm going to say this succinctly and clearly, I'm going to clip this mess later. Halo needs to have the Capcom approach of remake, remaster, and new content every other year or on some like rotating schedule. Yes, they absolutely need a Halo 1 remake, not remaster, remake, ground up, make this thing in a new engine. Grapple hook is present. Enemies diverse, AI is good, level design cleaned up and made better. Give it that Resident Evil 4 Dead Space remake treatment. Give it that. Bring new people into Halo and show modern audiences why it was great. Have the couch co-op from the get-go. Have the things that make Halo Halo, but give it to modern audiences in the right way. And then you can have your Halo Infinite sequel in the next rotation and make it an oscillating back and forth release cadence. And that is your victory. That is your victory. Because Halo has such a ripe future, but you do need to bring modern people in. The show was bad. Halo Infinite is infinite, but it's a sequel to 7 games, and you've got mobile games in there and Halo War. No, remake the game, bring new audiences in, and then you can continue after that. That's what needs to happen with Halo.
Do you think that they take any of the things that have improved the gameplay flow in Infinite back to Halo like Combat Evolved?
Absolutely. The premise is the same. You're crashing onto a ring and you've got to deal with the threats of that ring. You can go through all the elements with Guilty Spark and the Flood in an Unreal Engine experience and still have your high value targets. Still have your gather intel. Okay, if we go take out this person, then we're good. And I think that is they've got so much that they can do with that. This could be the Matt Reeves Batman, right? Yeah, start from the beginning, but take what we've learned. Matt Reeves Batman was informed by the Dark Knight trilogy in the best ways. Like whatever they do with Halo, they need to not lose what's made it fantastic in years that are recent. Sprinting, grapple hook, giving Master Chief personality, which you need to have, but not let it be everything. Like Chief talks in Infinite, but he doesn't take his helmet off, right? There's a way to humanize that character and still let yourself as a player project into it. So absolutely they need to keep the stuff that stuck. Resident Evil 4 remake and Dead Space remake didn't go backwards. They went forward. That's what needs to happen with Halo.
Yeah, I as long as there's a scene where Cortana like pops in and she's trying to like give a bit of a debriefing to Chief, and he still has like most of his armor on, but you get to see like his little butt kind of showcasing.
Oh God.
Then I feel like we'll really have connected the show and the new studio together, and we can finally bring the Halo TV series into the light and showcase how amazing that show really is.
We're not friends anymore. Like we're done. We're done. It was a good run.
I just wanted to find some way to bring that up. No, God, that show was so rough.
It was rough, and like they were finally getting on the right track.
No,
still too rough. No, they were. That last episode was like, chef's kiss.
One episode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they were getting on the right track, but they were doing it by killing everybody else, and Chief's going to be by himself, as it should have been. Big shout out to Gentle Stone, Il Ray Tito in chat. Of course, Todd Oxford hanging out with us still. And shout out to the people over on Logan's Twitch side. Looks like you guys are hanging out with us also. We appreciate you all. If you guys are willing to like, subscribe, support the channel in any way, it really does help, and we appreciate you. Yes, Silken It. He almost got kicked off the podcast because I think I'd be justified if there was a Master Cheek skin in there. I think I would be justified, just for the record.
I just want like Mjolnir armor that just has like a spray painted butt, and then like a golden eye flat, like 2 pixels of Pablo Schreiber's face as a visor would be
that's a year 2. That's a year 2 cosmetic, right? Like not right away, but yes. Once we're having fun with it and going crazy.
Or even better yet, oh my God, can they do a Pablo Schreiber face, but it's like one of those like cardboard Halloween masks that has like the little string, and it's just on front of
the armor. Yeah, that would be great. Like Deadpool, Hugh Jackman, Staples. Yes.
Yeah. Please just do that.
Yep. Todd says assless chaps armor. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be funny. Oh man,
Cheeks.
Either way, I'm excited. Cheeks. I'm excited for Halo Studios. Are you?
Dude, yeah, of course. I mean, I love the Halo games. I think the games are great. I've obviously we've discussed the order that we have them in, but I mean, I will always say like 4 is one of those ones that surprises me out of the series, where I looked at it and I was just completely surprised at looking at the generations of the games and just being like the visual differences are amazing. But I want Halo to succeed. I really enjoyed Infinite's campaign. I think it's like one of the better campaigns I've played through the Halo franchise. I just don't think they knew what to do. I think that they had one really good idea and they executed on that. And then so much more started to come up about like how to monetize, how to pull in revenue, how to establish the esports aspect of this, and so much more started to get pushed over to the multiplayer focus that we lost sight of why Halo is important. And it always comes back to Chief. It always comes back to Chief and Cortana. Keep those two as your sacred symbols of Xbox, and you will continue to pull in money for Halo. People will continue to love that IP. And it's just a matter of like, what's Chief's biggest enemy? And why does it have to be either Cortana or himself? why I appreciate the introspective natures of that. You can keep that and still have a big bad that is new in an extent, like them going with the oh my god, I'm blanking on the word, the robot people.
Vanished.
No,
the endless.
So like
whatever that is. Yeah, them.
Like the it's okay, but the banished I think are a much better enemy. I think we should stick with them. I would love to see a new enemy type that is scarier than the banished, but not through like a brute force means, but through like a tactical kind of executing. Like I want to see an enemy type. I want to see a nemesis to Chief that is one tactical step ahead of Chief every single time. And the only reason
like in Doom Eternal, those sorted enemies, like something like that.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would really love to see something like that. So
I agree, and I think you've got plenty of lore that you could do that with, which is awesome. And I would love to see the Flood in this remake with the technologies of World War Z and Space Marine 2. That would be really cool to see the Flood like that. You know what I mean?
Maybe they could hire the guys that were working on Days Gone.
Oh gosh. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right.
Anyway.
So either way, we're excited for Halo. Looking forward to what it becomes. Let's transition over now to something that I think is pretty darn interesting in that, and Sarah Bond tweeted this out, and I don't know how much I'm liking Sarah Bond's socials right now because it's all very corporate. And I really don't like the corporate stuff, particularly next to all the news of Xbox doing well, not doing well, multi-platform. Are we doing, court? Like I'm just high. I want gaming stuff, but that's just me. Maybe I'm just in a mood. Regardless, she tweeted out that thanks to the U.S. courts decisions, essentially the Xbox app will now become a hub on your Android devices for you to both purchase and to cloud stream games, to include games outside of Game Pass. This is starting in November. This won't be everything all right away. It will be like a rollout process, but I love this news because I do enjoy mobile gaming. I do enjoy cloud gaming. We see the ROG Ally and the demand for handhelds. Xbox themselves mentions handheld regularly. I don't know what you're pointing to, but it looks neat.
My G Cloud right next to my bedside. Right next to my bed, I always keep my Logitech G Cloud because I love streaming from Game Pass over there.
That's awesome. Okay, very cool. But the idea that we can do that within an Android app on modern devices, very exciting. I know this is one of those things that sounds small or dumb or even niche, right? Like you couldn't say to just a casual gamer, be like, hey, now you can cloud stream, and they get super excited. But I think the ramifications and the effect of it, once it's just your purchase library, will be pretty darn impressive, and I'm excited for that. What's up? It's Timmy V2. Good to see you, buddy. I'm always happy when Timmy's here because he is a staple in Xbox chats. Soaking it saying sometimes I feel Aaron Greenberg is managing Sarah Bond's socials. It definitely doesn't feel personable, that's for sure. But Sarah Bond was very kind to me when I met her. Of course, she had on the face. She's learning the role. We've got reports from Jason Schreier coming out recently. And I think we talked about this last week, that it doesn't matter what you think of Schreier. The reporting has been consistent for years, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, he's got his axes to grind, especially when it comes to unionization for gaming industry, which
and Xbox as well.
Yeah, and I agree to an extent. I think that unionization is a good reason to get help when you need help from companies that won't supply that help. But it's not a fix all kind of thing. So he's got his axe to grind about that, and that's fine. That's his hill to die on. But he does do really good reporting, and you can't ignore that when he starts coming out with some of these reports.
Right. So I'm curious to know how much of it has to do with Big Daddy Microsoft, them answering to the higher ups now that they've gotten all this funding, how impactful the bringing of in-app purchases and in-app streaming to Xbox will be, as far as making an impact on player base and user counts and the real thing that matters, which is revenue. Because in a world where exclusives are becoming more and more rare,
Mhm.
I wonder if this isn't just the direction we're going, and I feel like we've all been saying that it's going this direction, but are we watching it happen in real time with this? Either way, I'm excited because I love playing video games. I love building achievements, and now I can do both through the app as it should have been for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. This was, seeing this really did kind of like make me excited because it's something that they had talked about like a long time ago, how they wanted to bring your library to streaming, and that was something that they wanted to do. Never heard about it after like the initial announcement, and I think that was like, that was like 3 or 4 years ago at this point. So them bringing that library, bring my library to streaming, so I'm not just like having to have my console on all the time that I want to do that, because sometimes it doesn't actually connect up. Sometimes it doesn't actually like boot up my system. So
Right.
when stuff like that happens, I'm like, well, I can't play the one thing that I wanted to play, which is not on Game Pass, but I bought it. So having them give you access to your library through Game Pass Ultimate's cloud streaming, dude, that's a huge win for me, because it means I don't necessarily need to have my console on. I can always shut that down, and I feel less hindered when I'm out and about, or I want to just boot up a game on my Android handheld, you know. And honestly, like, them doing this is just a sign that it's probably going to happen with Apple sooner rather than later. I'm glad that the legislation actually did something to benefit consumers, even though at the moment it will most likely benefit the actual company itself. Sarah Bond tweeting about this feels very much like a corporate statement to showcase what their goal is. But it does have a trickle down effect to the consumers. Like, people that just have an Android system or an Android device is now going to be able to buy and own games through, well, own games through the App Store there, and not have to buy a console, or have to worry about it having a console. They can just have their handheld or their Razer Kishi, or you know, like one of the little add-ons that you can get for your phones, and enjoy that content. Backbone, yeah, be able to use that content there. So this was huge for me. I was very happy to see this, and it's funny because I woke up and I was going to jump into the show notes to start, because I woke up and remembered that this was the thing, and I was like, oh, I got to add this to the show notes, and then I jumped on and see that you've already got it already laid out, and I'm like, really, I'm glad we get to talk about it, because I think this is a big deal for consumers to be able to gain access in more places and have better access to their library.
I'm very curious myself to see which ones roll out first, how they get it out there. Gentle Stone asking in chat if it's, publisher's discretion whether or not it's available, or all your own games. I don't know the answer to that, and I'm curious to see how every company navigates it.
Yeah, I think the reports are that they're going to be doing slow rollouts starting in November for titles. I would imagine that it's going to be a matter of them getting games uploaded onto the servers and have them available for access. So, I mean, we're talking about a huge potential library for whatever's available currently in the Xbox store to start getting uploaded as games that are accessible through cloud streaming beyond just what's currently available on Game Pass. So I'm not surprised that it may take a while. It feels like they're just now finally starting to get some of those deals in place. And now that the deals are in place, they can start to kind of expand that. My question comes in is forward, or future Logan wants to know, is all of that content going to be relevant, or not relevant, but continue to have access through Game Pass xCloud in the future, as long as I maintain my membership across different generations? Or is there going to be a point where they have to say, hey, because of server costs, because of licensing deals, we are going to have to discontinue the streaming functionality for these select titles in the future because of that? Like, right now, it's just a value add. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to pay anything extra. Are they going to start charging for that because this is an additional service that they're adding on for now?
A good point, and I think they will. specifically because we've seen them, particularly in the last year since the Activision deal closed, become less consumer friendly with their tiers and their approach, and that part of me wants to be like, well, they were too consumer friendly to try and justify themselves, but because we're losing stuff, it feels bad, and I won't defend Xbox on that. Goodness gracious, like I don't like that my money doesn't travel further, and I'm in a privileged position as a content creator to sometimes get to play stuff that's extra without having paid the same amounts and such, and so I still think it's concerning, but regardless, I'm glad to see that we'll be able to start playing things in more ways.
Yeah, me too.
Let's switch into Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred, because not only is the new season in full effect, people are loving Vessel of Hatred. They're also dropping collab skins with WoW, which I love to see the cross-pollination. You know, I love that kind of stuff. To me, that's how we should. Like, I don't know why we don't do it more. Black Ops should have a Master Chief or a Marcus Phoenix or something. And so I thought this was really cool to see you put in the notes. What are your takes? You've been playing Vessel of Hatred.
Yeah, dude. Vessel of Hatred is really good for an expansion. Like it, and the whole change that they've had, like over this current expansion, they've actually gone in and done a lot of the changes that they had, or a lot of the quality of life things that they've had in Diablo 3. They finally brought forward into Diablo 4. When I played through Diablo 4, it was interesting to kind of because I mean you've kind of gone through like the gambit of Diablo 4, and you've played through a couple different seasons.
Diablo 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they to touch on first, I guess the skins, because you've never played WoW, but they have the Warcraft skins in here, and the Warcraft skins that they have are they're like $30 for a class, but they've managed to really kind of just really latch on to some of the main characters from the World of Warcraft franchise. And like the Necrodancer itself has the Arthas Lich King skin with his armor. And my God, it is like spot on. It looks so good. And I'm so tempted to drop 30 on this. But I'm also thinking in the back of my mind, like, that's also $30 for an entire skin. And I'm like, oh God. I don't know if I can do it.
Sounds expensive, even by like Fortnite. You're paying $12 to $15, but you get stuff with it and emotes, and that sounds expensive. Because like I get skins in games, I'm okay with that. That sounds expensive.
It is. It feels expensive, man. Because like I look at like Sea of Thieves as a comparison, and most ships in the Emporium are about $30 for an entire like kind of like cosmetic ship set with the collector stuff, collector sales, collector figurehead. So it's about 30. It's comparable. Okay. So when I look at these and I'm like, it's just I feel like they're really trying to get me with the skins in this one, and I'm like, but I look at them and I'm like, man, these look really good, and there's something that's going to continue for forever. Like they're available for any of your characters that you have of that class. So it doesn't matter if I make 3 necromancers over the course of the next like 2 years, I can apply those cosmetics to each of those characters. So I'm like, this is it's great, man. And Abdel is saying in chat, like, support the devs. It's like, bro, they already got Vessel of Hatred expansion cost out of me. So like I mean, this is like they got the deluxe version. I almost upgraded to the epic version, or the epic edition, for $30 because it gave me like $30 worth of credit plus the actual content. But there's that bundle, there's that value add that they're trying to do. They're like saying, hey, if you upgrade for an additional $30 to the epic version of Vessels of Hatred, which, when I bought it, I bought the $60 version. Now I'm looking to spend $90 on the expansion just so that I can get the extra little cosmetics for that and the currency that I need to be able to buy just the Lich King. Not even like the WoW bundle. Right. Just the Lich King. Just that Necromancer armor is $30 for the whole shebang. Yeah, I'm like, and it's gonna be it's one of those things that everyone is going to have their own thing. I'm thinking with my wallet, and for me, $30 for cosmetics is like just above the instant buy kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if it were $20, I probably wouldn't have thought about it. I probably would have clicked buy easily.
But now they're pushing you.
They're getting me past the point of like instant gratification. Now I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, do I really actually need this?
Right.
Or am I satisfied with the cosmetics that I have in game? Because right now, like looking at my Spiritborn, who like I'm pretty sure Abdel says it, D3 Monk was my favorite class, and Spiritborn reminds me of that.
Mm-hmm.
That is very much the case. Like the Spiritborn feels like a good combination between the Monk and the Witch Doctor, which is a fantastic combination for that class. But
let me put this out there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No. You continue your thought. Mine was a plug.
No, jump in.
I was just going to say, like, in a world where, like, if you're seeing that stuff happen, this sounds a little self-serving, and I wasn't trying for it to be, so it's poorly timed because I should have waited till the end. Instead of spending $30 on a skin, spend money to support your content creators or microtransactions that you do see. Like, drop a channel membership or a super chat to any content creator that you are liking, or if you see microtransactions that are healthy, go support them. Don't support the ones that you find are predatory. So again, that sounds self-serving. It was poorly timed, but I mean it. Like,
yeah,
go put your money in places that you think are supporting the industry as you want to see it. That's what I was trying to say. But it sounded self-serving.
So that's where I'm because and I would say like what Abdel says is a great sentiment, because in my mind I'm thinking $30, that's potentially like a game on sale that I wouldn't normally have bought like a game. But if I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, well, I could either have the Lich King skin for my Necromancer when I'm currently playing a Spiritborn in Diablo Vessel of Hatred, or I could buy a game that's on sale that is something that I've been looking at, that I was waiting for a deal, and have a completely different game from another studio and support them, even if it's on sale. Like, it's still like me giving them money when I normally wouldn't have, because I would have spent that money on cosmetics that I don't necessarily need. So I'm like, I'm sitting there trying to weigh like, okay, well, do I support another developer because the skins in Diablo are too expensive? And if I was going to spend that $30, could I get a completely different experience that I find that I really, really enjoy? And I'm definitely not going to be getting RoboCop. Not going to get RoboCop. Nope, not going to happen.
That game looks fun, man. That game looks fun.
It looks basic.
That's what basic. I like. Dude, I swim in sevens, and like, honest to goodness, I have this wonderful backlog because I've been playing stuff for review, but also for like, you got to play the games to talk about them with developers usually, right? So as I played stuff to talk about them and prepped for things that are coming out, and like, I have a backlog of Star Wars Outlaws. I haven't played Vessel of Hatred yet, Shattered Space and such, but RoboCop looks like a winter game for me, where I just sit down and crush it in a weekend and have a blast. And it's like filing it back on the shelf. It's the rental from Blockbuster. It's your weekend game. That's what, and $30 or so. Those. Right. But like $30 or so, that's the cost that it would be now, right, to do something like that. And so I think that it slots right in there. So maybe it's not right now that you'd spend $30 on it, Logan, but when you clear out some of the bigger stuff, rock on, and like, not worth more than 30. That's kind of what I'm trying to say without trying to sound selfish, is like, pay what you think something's worth.
Market value, man. Market value. Pay what you think the game is worth. If you get more out of it, then maybe throw some more money to them as a thank you. Like, gift it to someone else. That's what I did with Helldivers. When I got into Helldivers, when it launched, I was like, this game is preem. This is like top shelf, like comic satire. I love this. It's why I'm looking forward to jumping into Starship Troopers, and I'm really happy with this. I saw my buddy wish listed it on Steam. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to buy any currency in the microtransaction store for myself, but I will happily give someone else the gift of Helldivers 2 to be able to enjoy that experience, because it was great. And that dude surpassed everything that I could do in the game. And I was just like, I hate you for like, I brought this to you and you leave me behind and you don't even help me get any of the little pink resources so that I can upgrade my ship finally. Yeah.
No, I'm with you. On your side.
I don't know. Sorry. But yeah, to go back to Diablo 4, I really love what this game has done as far as refinements. Like, they've gone in, they've changed the leveling experience to expand it up to 60 levels so that you get more points in your actual attributes, as opposed to just dumping stuff into stat dumps with the Paragon boards. I'm not a huge fan of the Paragon boards. I think that it's good to have like interesting nodes to kind of augment certain things, but to have to work your way through a Paragon board really doesn't just bore the ever living crap out of me. Like, I would much rather have more abilities or more tiers or options for abilities than have to just like stat boost into a Paragon board. So that's that aside. They've done a really good job with the leveling experience. It's a lot more it's a lot more even paced. The new torments are brought in from Diablo 3, which is giving you stronger difficulty levels and higher rewards as a result. They've brought back mercenaries. They've brought back pets. Pets now run around and pick up all the little stuff that you would normally have to click on. I missed that from Diablo 3. Yeah, so that's now in the game. Dude, it's just like they finally brought all of the quality of life crap that was in Diablo 3 into Diablo 4, which feels like a spiritual successor to Diablo 2. And I'm loving it. It's exactly what a perfect Diablo game should be. And there's a reason why this expansion got rated so high.
So should I be diving in sooner? Because all the stuff you're saying sounds fun. No, I don't have to. Okay.
No.
I'm glad, because if there's spooky stuff in there, awesome. But a lot of that stuff's still there, and I've got my cool skin for my Necro that I loved, and cool.
Just grab it when you feel it like you want to. I think the story is fantastic, and jumping in as a Spiritborn is a welcome reprieve from the constant like just necromancer that I typically run. And I've been having a lot of fun with that. So I think it's really good content, but it's not anything that is going to require you to jump in right now. Like, you can continue just playing whatever you want. And when that itch for Diablo comes and you just want to run through and smash something, like you're playing a Darksiders game or something, like, jump in, enjoy.
Okay. All right. Then that's what I will do. That is what I will do. Speaking of Darksiders, that's coming out this coming up week. The re-release or
don't
whatever.
Say it. We just call it a remake.
It's not a remake,
or like a remaster.
It's not even that. It's an upscaled version of the remaster, I think.
That's a remaster in my opinion. It's like upgrading the sound quality on a song. You're just remastering it.
All right.
If it's just upscaled, then that's just a
remains to be seen. Like, if it's an Aspire level remaster, no thank you. If it's a Night Dive level or Digital Eclipse, then yes, I'm on point. So
talking about the people that are bringing me my Soul Reavers to modern consoles, sir.
Yeah, and I don't have any faith in Asper. I'm also not rooting against them. Like, really. Aspire, I should say. They are making Jedi Power Battles, which was one of my Dreamcast favorites. So there's that.
I remember that game.
Yeah, there's that.
Man, I forgot about that.
Yep. Metaphor ReFantazio has launched. This is a bigger hit than I ever thought it would be. I thought it would get more critique because it wasn't Persona, but it was made by the Persona team. But it seems that team has knocked it out the park. Metacritic 94, OpenCritic 95. Logan, you and I, we declined codes for this one because it's just not our bag. But I will say, in an industry where we get a lot of bad news, it's nice to see a game and a team get such a big win.
Yeah. No, this is one of those ones where you asked me and I was like, bro, it's an RPG. I know it's going to be amazing.
Right.
I don't think I could put myself through that. I just don't feel like my brain can comprehend or understand the chess match that has to go on for me to feel like is now the round where I heal everyone, or do I try and push one more round of attacks? What is the point of defend? Because I feel like I'm just giving up the opportunity for me to attack or heal. Like, I don't like turn-based strategy games, and I'm just sitting here looking at this and I'm like, it's cool. The character designs are awesome. The world looks fantastic. They know how to make good games. They're just not games for me.
Right. Right. I mean, for it to review so well, I think it's sold 1 million plus or something like that at this point, outpacing Persona. I'm just happy this happened. It is kind of cool on an Xbox level. This was a marketing thing tied to them. It's not exclusive, mind you. But it does. I think it's just a nice win, right?
Yeah. Very much so. I'm glad for the people that are jumping into it, because after having all of the Persona titles come to Game Pass and having access to those over the last year or 2 years, it's nice to have the opportunity for something fresh to come straight to Xbox in a world where it always feels like we're kind of second fiddle in the RPG world.
Agreed. Absolutely agree. I'm going to. That is the last of our smaller stories. Inscription and Sifu are now on Game Pass Ultimate, which is cool. But again, a quiet month ahead of Call of Duty, and David Burdett was on our last week's episode. He's played a lot of Call of Duty. I think he's very excited for.
Me too.
Very excited for what Black Ops has to show.
So. They really I would love for them to have had the actual old Black Ops campaigns brought into
very disappointed that didn't happen.
Game Pass, so we could actually have that.
I think if you went back and you were a longtime listener of XEP, you would have very much heard us say we anticipated that happening. I'm shocked and surprised that it didn't. It's just odd to me that it didn't. Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a disappointment. I mean, maybe who knows what's in store? Who knows what's in store? It would be smart for them to put it out a week ahead and be like, get caught up on Black Ops. Maybe they're trying to get splash screens in there. I don't know. But I will say we're having a good old time in Call of Duty's Halloween event. We enjoyed some Warzone recently. They're doing some. I really like just the Call of Duty Modern Warfare experience. The skins look great. I'm bummed because there's another one that I really want. There's a good Frankenstein skin, but it's on the same team as Art the Clown. Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, I missed that.
It's good.
I haven't been to the store, but that's sorry.
Might be smart because here's the kicker to your point, right? It's only going to be available in Warzone. It won't go into Black Ops. So am I willing to spend my last 2,000 COD points to get this? Because I really want it. It's really good. But like, shouldn't I just save and let them roll over? And that's where I'm at right now.
Man.
So yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Like that's the nature of it. But I will say all their skins look great, playing great in some really good spooky stuff in COD. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm still going in doing. I'm almost to the end of Act 2 in my zombie stories. So I'm like really trying to get that knocked out before Call of Duty comes out, because they're doing away with the DMZ style or the Warzone style zombies, and I kind of want to get that story finished up beforehand, because I don't know, I like working through it. So that's kind of been how I've been working my way through the battle pass, and they're doing double XP this weekend for some reason. So definitely really kind of like having a good time with it.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
Don't know why they are too, but we played last night. I think they're doing double XPs to driving great engagement to splash screens for Black Ops, but also to get people in on that last battle pass. So that's what I think's happening.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, that's fine as well too. Can I address this one that I starred?
I think that's just a troll, but go for it.
Okay. Damien H. I couldn't imagine being 40 and still gaming, much less that disgusting Xbox brand. They had their days with the 360 and too many bad decisions with the consumer. Glad to be done with it all. Luke, I just want to say,
why are you here? I don't get it.
I just want to say it's really sad to see when people's imaginations go away at such a young age. That's all I got to say.
Agreed. Abdel is requesting us to put our Halo campaign rankings in chat. So I'm gonna do that now.
That's really tough, dude.
It changes every time I'm asked.
Can I come back to that one? Because I'm gonna go back and I'm actually gonna do the co-op with those. And I want to give ODST an actual shot, because it really bugs me that I quit on ODST. And I was not having it. But I appreciate like what it was doing. I also want to give Reach another chance too, because I was distracted when playing that. And there are parts of it that I was like, cool, this is awesome. But I really wasn't keeping invested with the actual characters. And I know that's like one of the biggest draws for that. But I definitely want to give those two another shot. But if I had to, I kind of want to like tell you to go back to watch that one community episode where you and I actually we did rank them and actually compared. Yeah, that was like one of the first ones that we did.
Yep. I will tell you my current ranking: Halo's 4, then Infinite, Reach, Wars 2, 3, ODST, 2, 1. Those are my rankings for at the moment. But you could at any given point mix up my top 3, which are 4, Reach, and Infinite, at any given point, and I would be okay with it because they all ring differently. I think Halo Wars 1 and 2 are fantastic, and then I genuinely don't think Halo 1 is that great. I really don't. That's why I'm desperate for this remake, because like it's a level design thing, not a gameplay issue. It's a level design thing. It's just that it was special. It's special in its history, but I don't enjoy going back to play Halo 1 compared to the others.
There are definitely some level. I think like the anniversary edition of CE, I think does a good job of kind of giving you a better indication on where you're at in some of the Forerunner facilities. But outside of that, I have to say Halo 1 is like one of those goats for me. I would say 4 is definitely high on the list, as well as Infinite and 3. I think 2 and 1 are kind of side by side. And I think ODST and Reach are kind of down in the lower end, which is kind of why I want to go and try those through again and just give them I want to give them another honest attempt and see like, okay, how do I actually feel about this and stuff like that, and just play through them and stuff. So it's really, really hard to kind of like rank these. And I think Gentlestone actually brings up a really good point. Do you want a T-bone or filet mignon or a gourmet burger? Depends on the day. You're eating good when it comes to Halo. I maintain that all of the games are good in their own ways. They're just not. They're like it's like the lesser of two evils when it comes to the Halo games. Like I'm going to find ones that I like more than others, but I've enjoyed all of them. Even the Forerunner stuff in Guardians. Like I genuinely was just like, this is epic. This is freaking epic. I think it's really interesting, the whole idea of like the crazy AI taking over and stuff like that, and the Forerunners coming in. Just like I like some of the Forerunner weapons. I think some of the weapons are missed in Infinite, but at the same time, I'm not going to disparage the Mangler, because that is my favorite gun since Infinite came out. So it's one of those things where it's like, it just depends on the you know, what you're feeling in the day. Because I could very easily be like, yeah, no, Infinite's top right now as far as just like story goes, and weapon choice and stuff. But you know, I would be labeled a fool for ignoring so many other really good entries into Halo as a franchise. Agreed.
Big Mad Mo saying Infinite 5, 4. Then he goes, that's the only Halo that matters. So those 3. Woo.
That is a bold choice, and I mean, if you're down for that, like, I'm glad that you're enjoying it, because I had a good time with 5. Chief needs to retire. How do you feel about this?
Nope, disagree. In the remake category, understand the sentiment in the making new games category. Shout out to Ulaw. That's it. They say hello, Mr. Lohr. I imagine
that's Outlaw.
Is it Outlaw?
It's
I'm
outlaw.
old. That didn't help my case, did
dork.
it? That didn't help my case at all. But shout out to the kiddos. Sikomiko in the house. Let me tell you something about this guy. He is crushing it over at Xbox Era, putting in the work. One of the nicest human beings I've ever met. His wife is equally wonderful. Getting to meet them. I did ask him to be on the show a few weeks ago when Jesse came. He didn't even see it because he's been so busy and not using Twitter as much anymore. Yeah. Which is funny, but one of the best human beings. I got to hang out with him in LA, which was really fun when we were out there. Came to talk
about Sea of Thieves on Keelhauled a long time ago.
Did he really?
Yeah.
John came on. He and I get back on there. That's cool.
We hung out and talked Sea of Thieves for a while.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. He said Discord me. Yeah. I learned. Jesse told me after the fact, John. So we are definitely going to have you back on, my friend.
Discord's where it's at.
Yeah, it is. I mean, straight up Discord, like our Discord is one of those positive places, as is the Xbox Era one. But if you're a channel member or patron, you can jump into our Discord at any time, and it's just a wonderful place.
I feel bad. I got so many because there's so many like content creators out there that I enjoy, and there's so many Discord. Like everyone's got a Discord, and I always feel bad. And I'm like, I have like a folder that's just like the people I love that I can't like read their Discord all the time. So, and I think like the app just showed you like a, hey, catch up thing. And I'm like, oh, thank God, please. Thank you.
I get so frustrated. There's this, I'm in this, I think you're in it too. One of the group chats with Nerd Chat and Ains and a bunch of other people.
Oh yeah.
They talk nonstop. And I'm like, y'all go to one of our community Discords and have that. It's such a great conversation. Like, go there.
But not all of us are in the same one. That's the crazy thing. And like, how do you like ping everyone at once and be like, hey, we're having this conversation here in this Discord as opposed to this other, like, it's so hard, dude. It's so hard. But I feel you on there. Like,
yeah. Let's see. Luke, I see you moving up. You got trolls. I do have trolls now, Big Mad Mo. It's high time that it's happened. My socials will blow up sometimes with people just being like, Xbox sucks, or I can't believe you like this game. And it's like, all right, mute.
If you build a bridge, trolls will come.
Yeah. No, my socials are full of trolls, which is taxing. I'm just like, go away.
It's all right.
It is a whatever.
No one's gonna stop me from liking the things I like.
Yeah.
If a marriage can't stop that, then nothing's gonna stop it.
Not touching that with a 10-foot pole. My wife's out with her camper this week. All right. All right. I've got games that I want to play, and I'm ready for some good lunch here. Thank you to everybody that checked out the Dead by Daylight interview. I do hope you enjoy it. There's more to come in spooky season. I appreciate everybody for liking, sharing, supporting any of your content creators, us or otherwise. Logan, it looks like John Sikomiko might be joining you on a Sea of Thieves conversation soon. But if you would please let us know what you got going on with Keelhauled.
Keelhauled season 14's rolling up on the 17th, so 5 days away. They're bringing crouching harpoon guns. They're bringing traps that you can bury and like have like bombs attached to them and stuff. Dude, there's a lot of stuff coming to Sea of Thieves. They got blow darts to like track things. They have like emotes that you can hide in to disguise yourself to look like a very valuable chest. There's a lot that they're bringing to Sea of Thieves. So that's coming out on the 17th. So I'm going to be talking more about that. Gilded Voyages going on right now. I just finished my Legendary Hunter of the Sea of Thieves achievement, which is a very hard achievement to go through. With a chick. Her and I went out fishing. And for the last month, we've been fishing almost every single day. She's on a cruise right now, so I don't get to, get to go do that with her. But
we haven't gotten to hang out with you, so maybe you give your boys some love. Just saying.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll do some gaming and stuff like that. But yeah, that's coming out on this week. Just gonna be doing some more Keelhauled, potentially streaming some content this weekend since I have time. But I've got a concert that I'm going to tomorrow for like all day, so I'm gonna go see Disturbed and a bunch of other bands.
Jealous.
How did I like the Monkey Island Tall Tales? I thought they were fantastic. I thought that the Monkey Island Tall Tales are effectively what a Monkey Island game would be if it were done in 3D as opposed to a point and click adventure game. And I've never been more impressed with Rare as a studio to be able to facilitate that type of design implementation, changing an entire genre of a game and still doing it absolute justice. So
nice.
Yeah.
You Disturbed, one of my favorite bands. And I don't know if this is related or not. I was gifted some Dead by Daylight stuff after the interview by some people, including Iron Maiden and Slipknot skins, because they're in the game.
They're all playing this weekend too. Missed out on them because I didn't want to spend an extra $200 on tickets. But yeah,
that's cool. All right, cool, very nice.
Iron Maiden's today actually. I was kind of bummed.
Oh really?
Yeah, dude. There's it's Iron Maiden, Slayer, Motley Crue, Slipknot, Disturbed, Pantera, Judas Priest, Five Finger Death Punch, Evanescence, Breaking Benjamin, Falling in Reverse, Rise Against, Stained, Hailstorm, Seether, Dropkick Murphys, Flogging Molly, Mastodon, Anthrax, Cypress Hill Ministry, Skillet, Seven Dust, Tech Nine, Static X, Clutch, Body Count, Insane Clown Posse. Like there's so many. It's a 4-day long fest. And I'm missing on 3 days because I wanted to go see Disturbed if I was only going to be able to go for 1 day. But, man,
that is a festival of olds.
Yep.
I get it.
I'm going to go talk to some people and let them know about something called Indiana Jones.
They're going to be like, I think my dad played that. And we're like, no, it's
they're
not
going to be
out
like,
yet.
dude, it's so yeah. I'm going to go see my olds. I'm going to go play games after 40.
There you go. I like that. Alrighty, guys, that's going to do it for us here. Thank you all for supporting XEP. We hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Take care.
Bye.